be on old time.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, good afternoon, Monday, March 9th, 3 o'clock. We'll get the Urban Forestry Board meeting cracked off. Thank you everyone for being here and attending online. We'll call to order, roll call.
Chair Burke.
Here.
Vice Chair Kohler.
Here.
And Board Member Phelps.
Here.
Chair, we have a quorum.
Can we get an approval of the agenda? Very big one here.
I move to approve the agenda.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Move on to approval of the January 12th regular meeting minutes. I wasn't here.
I move to approve the minutes of the last meeting on January 12th.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Visitor communication.
There's none.
There is none. Okay, let's go. Nothing under board business. And
Well, I have just a odd topic to bring up. I don't know when that would be time to do so, but
do you want to do it under board business, or would you like to
yeah.
do board member comments?
Board member comments is probably better.
Okay. So we'll move on to other business. City Forester updates. Creekside campground inventory.
So Avery was not able to make it today. However, he did share some updates, and I'm sharing those to the screen now. If I can.
Did you say Avery?
So he's been working on the Creekside campground, updating our inventory for campground, and also just kind of taking looks for risks ahead of us opening the campground. Any hazard trees, hazard limbs. We did lose a few trees during the windstorm and rainstorm back in December. So we're trying to take a proactive approach to that campground and give it a extra set of eyes, thorough review. And Avery has been utilizing TreePlotter software that we use through ODF. Our previous forester, Dan, his inventory was uploaded into TreePlotter. It's a GIS program, and Avery's been working on updating that with his observations of the campground. Teresa, are you able to see that on your end?
I can see it. There's like this hum in the background, so even if I turn up the volume, it just gets louder. So I can mostly hear what you're saying, but I can certainly see this. Yes, thank you.
Let's see if we can possibly troubleshoot that audio issue.
That's great news that Brittany Oxford did that extra work that Avery refers to.
Yeah, it took them quite a bit of work to incorporate
Wow.
data that wasn't meant for a GIS program to get that incorporated into GIS. So
yeah,
really very cool. And we can talk more about TreePlotter in the next section when we get to staff updates. And I'll be sure to send this document out to the board members after.
Oh, good. That'd be great. Well, I could bring you guys up to date on the Creekside Heritage Grove nomination at the state level? We had a big meeting between several of the committee members at the state level who are all volunteers, and Avery and I on Zoom a couple, 3 weeks ago, and talked over many aspects of this grove of trees, its location, whether or not actually Native Americans use this particular spot as a campground. They certainly did other spots on Waichus Creek. And the upshot was that where this comes into play is what 70 words go on a plaque that describe this as a heritage grove. So although this was just a subcommittee of the total committee, they all seemed very much aligned with us that it is worthy of heritage grove status, that it is an unusual stand left behind after all of the development over the decades and centuries in this location. It's an unusual stand of nicely spaced, mature ponderosas. And so the task that we're working on right now collectively is to come up with 70 words max description of what could be put on a plaque in the grove that would indicate it's a heritage grove. And then also what happens is, and this might not be brought to fruition until 2027, but at some point in time, then this grove of trees would automatically come up. Like you can search Oregon heritage trees, and you'll see little the dots around the state where then zoom in on what it is. So this is worth, I think, the tremendous amount of time that Bridget, myself, and Avery have put into it thus far, and the committee members. They have talked hours and hours about our trees and we've all talked, and I did a lot of research on historic trails used and passageways, both by the settlers, the white settlers that came around, which are more documented, but they often followed the exact trails that the indigenous people had used because they were the logical places to go, and they often had a guide from the locals or from locals who were traveling their same route with them to give them guidance. So it's really very cool stuff, and we're just going to keep plodding away on that.
Well, thanks for the update.
You're welcome.
All the work with that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's exciting.
How many trees approximately
Are in the grove. It's about 35.
Okay.
We'll move on to staff updates, the 2026 Arbor Day.
Afternoon, everyone. If we haven't had the chance to meet yet, my name is Sarah Vowell. I'm the new associate planner here at the city. And as such, I've been tasked with helping plan for Arbor Day. So I put some slides together in the packet for you. The first one is information that you're already well aware of. It's that we've been a tree city for 19 years and what that entails, and talking a little bit about last year. This year, we have a budget of approximately $850. We were not eligible for any additional funding through the OCT grant this year, but we will be eligible again next year, and we look forward to applying. And then on the next slide is kind of an overview of what we've got planned so far for this year. So last year we were at Creekside Campground, kind of near the right-of-way with ODOT. This year we're going across the street. So we'll be at Sisters Community Park behind SPRD. So doing this on True Arbor Day, April 24th at noon. We have invited the Pine Siskin School again, as well as the daycare that is on site over at SPRD. And we look forward to planting in between 12 to 13 ponderosa seedlings that we already have on hand, kind of along the row where the blue line is showing. And if possible, if anyone's around and available on April 24th at noon, we would love to have some volunteers. Please contact me or Casey if you're available. We'd love to have you.
This is the second year in a row you guys scheduled it on a day that the kids are off school.
Yes.
So,
I don't know if that's good or bad.
well, no, I had my kids out with us last year when we were planting across the street,
Yeah.
and it was pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
They enjoyed it. They had fun.
Well, we look forward to having you again.
So,
Well, Sarah, this is Therese. I'll be there.
Dig things and dig the holes and.
Yeah, so we have a lot of equipment left over from last year. Hand trowels that are sized for children, but also shovels for adults. We have a bunch of buckets left over. We have the seedlings, and we have just a handful of totes, so we're going to reorder some more of those because they seemed like they were a big hit, the bags.
Are you gonna protect them with some netting or?
That's a great question.
We haven't had to protect any of the seedlings that we've planted in the past 2 years. They seem to do pretty good, and the deer seem to leave them alone.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Will
Hi.
these, hi, Sarah, nice to meet you.
you too.
Will these seedlings, I know that they're bigger than seedlings, but will these young trees have irrigation from the get-go?
I think Casey can help us with that answer. He was working with Jared over at SPRD on whether the site has irrigation.
Yeah, I think they should be covered by just the existing sprinkler system that they have over there for the giant field and some of the landscaping.
Okay, thank you.
Yep,
and then confirming that's on the inside of the fence line there.
it's on the inside of the fence. Yeah.
So it's on, not on the highway side, but on the lawn side or?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there should be pretty decent irrigation over there with them redoing all that irrigation in that field,
Yep.
or adjusting it.
Not kids there regularly now. As the school has moved, I've just wondered about protecting them from deer eating. They eat my seedlings sometimes, even in my yard, but hopefully they eat juniper. And will they be staked or just put them in the ground and
Put them in the ground.
stick them in the ground?
Yep. That's what we did last year.
Yeah, I think that's the plan for this year as well.
Yeah.
Question: pull them up so they don't get jay roots? You ever heard that?
There was someone there last year that had all the soil and the mineral soil and everything that they wanted us to have it planted properly. So I would imagine they'll be there again this year.
Okay.
We just dug the hole and they kind of helped plant it.
I'll be meeting with Jared out there to kind of flag or identify the exact spots we want the holes and everything. Yeah, I was talking with Avery about some strategies there as well.
Right. Last year we had, and the year before that, when we planted the young ponderosas, we had a lot of water that we could get either from a hose or from a truck that had a big storage unit of water on it so that we could water the hole and then water the trees after they were planted.
Yep, I think we're planning on having the crew out there with a water tank or something.
Perfect.
Do the
Great.
same. Yep.
Yeah, we won't be able to bring the large flatbed truck onto site, but we have a little John Deere Gator that we can put a water tank on the back of, and that should give us enough water.
Okay.
One of the trees from last Saturday, I kind of drive by the roundabout, they seem to be healthy and doing well. We haven't lost any of those?
Last time I walked through, I didn't see any missing. As far as I can tell, they're
Yeah, they're doing well.
which I'm happy to hear because that was not great soil. That's why we had to bring in so much extra soil.
Is it pretty rocky? Or
Pretty rocky, kind of leftover road
from the
bed.
creek?
It was
Over
actually
thousands of years, whatever.
or old road bed.
Old road bed.
Yep.
That, are you familiar with J route? Because that was one of the things over in on the west side when I lived over there. People were planting, and they taught them to put the roof down because you want the tap root to go straight down, and then you pull it up 1 or 2 inches so the tap root is straight down. Otherwise, the tap root begins to grow sideways, and then the tree gets stunted and doesn't reach full maturity. So I was just, I don't know, just popped in my hand from.
Yeah, we can make that part of kind of our educational routine as we kind of go through and double check.
Okay. Because when the foresters are going through reprod, after a big project, it's one of the things you do. You see them pull the trees up, 3 or 4 inches to get that root straight to make sure it has a better chance of surviving. So,
Thank you for bringing that up.
okay.
Also, Sarah, I don't know if you've maybe already been alerted to this and are on it, but Emmy would go to like city council meeting for sure. And I think she might have gone to a couple of others like the parks and I don't know what else, to their monthly meeting and just give them a heads up that Arbor Day was happening and the time so that if anybody wanted to come, especially people who have kids, to bring them along.
Yeah, absolutely.
To let them know.
We've been to Parks Board so far. We did that last week. Here with you now for urban forestry, and then absolutely speaking with council so that they're aware.
Fabulous. Great.
Thank
Thank you.
Well, thanks for continuing and planning and help plan that. It's a fun day. Moving on to TreePlotter.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, we do have a free account to TreePlotter through ODF. Currently, there is no additional login. Currently, city staff and Avery have logins for that in order to edit it and update it. It is viewable to the public, so anybody can go on and take a look at our inventory and a few data points. Just putting it out there. If any board members are interested in helping us and Avery in updating that program, we could possibly look into getting urban forestry general login for members if they have an interest in helping us with our inventory project. Kind of ongoing subdivisions pop up a little faster than we usually manage. Yep, public trees is not for private property trees.
And does it give specifics about the tree, or just here's a tree?
As much detail as we put in.
Oh, really?
We can even do maintenance records. You can do conditions. So if you want to select an area and say, what are the high hazard trees in this area, it'll bring them out. That's something that you can only see as a login, not necessarily a member of the public. But there's a lot of detail you can go into with that. Entering the date it was top during the last time we performed on it. And it can spit out some pretty interesting stuff such as shade cover. It can identify potential heat islands, as well as kind of a rough approximation of what's the term, like a CO2 account.
Drawing a blank. Who was our arborist before Avery?
That was Dan Galecki.
Dan. At one point, Dan had a register with all the city or all the right-of-way trees.
That's what we uploaded into TreePlotter. So So Dan had a spreadsheet of those trees, and what we did is we worked with ODF and Brittany Oxford on getting that on a GIS mapping system. So it's not 100% up to date, and there are some missing data points. Not everything was able to be transferred over.
Oh, gotcha.
There's some corruption in the transfer.
Oh.
Or missing data entirely. But it's like 99% of our inventory, 99% of that information.
Does having the tree plotter for the city give us another little award? There's Tree City USA. I'm wondering,
Like a growth award kind of thing.
yeah, inventory. Yeah.
I think it helps, but I don't know if that alone qualifies for
Yeah.
something. But yeah.
Because I know it's based on points, right? All your actions throughout the year get you points for
In certain categories, yeah.
What do we do with the tree plotter then? What, after we have that data uploaded, what are the advantages and uses or common uses of that? You're saying we could go out to public if public is curious, right?
Yep.
Right. What other?
Identifying if, say, worst case scenario, there was infestation of some kind coming through affecting one species of trees. It can allow you to see, oh, we have a large cluster of this species in this neighborhood. Maybe we need to keep an eye on that area. It allows us, like I said, to filter out any trees that we need to monitor.
Yeah.
So instead of kind of going through your checklist, you can pull it up and just see, oh, there are the dots of the trees that I can keep an eye on. Maybe identifying areas that may need some public trees.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm still kind of working through all the capabilities of that program. There's quite a bit.
It's dense. Yeah, it's really dense. I think Creekside alone, Avery identified like what, 700 trees or something like that. He's trying to slowly chip away at in inventory and get in that program. So, yeah.
It gives you a database of, we've taken these out, we've added these kind of things, and just for other people too, to see where we are now and where we are in 10 years. If there is, are we moving so many, where are they, or where are we adding them? It's just a database, I think, would be good to have for the city and the community also.
Yeah, if they're curious about what kind of trees out in front of their house, they can pull that up and click on the tree and they can say, oh, it's a ponderosa pine at 40 inches median or whatever.
Right, it just, I don't know, how detailed are they? It just species, or does it get into the size of the trees, or?
As far as what's available to the public, I believe is species and DH.
Okay.
And potentially age.
Yeah.
But for us, staff, and Avery, when you log in, there's infinitely more information than that. Maintenance records, condition, height.
You know, it was earlier this fall, Steve Summerfield, who used to be a counselor here, went overseas, came back, and now he lives in Eugene. But he lives out where I knew, out at Squaw Creek, or whatever it is, White's Creek Estates. And he drove in to see me, and he goes, God, I can't believe how much these trees have grown. Because he was here 25 years ago, 35 years ago, or more. And he just, I just can't believe how much they have grown. And that's really neat to hear someone say that. Because when you're in the city every day, or in your neighborhood every day, it's just, you don't see them growing. But if you go and then come back and, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think one of the parts of the TreePlotter program that I'm most interested in is you can upload a photo or several photos.
Yeah,
Look back on it and see, oh, these limbs were all green a year ago, and now these limbs are brown. It really help us maintain our
it's a good to have those for people standing there too by the trees to show how big they are, you know, or how small they are. But I think it's a real good measurement to have as a base mark, at least for now, and to look back. That's what we did when we did the Tree City. We came in and I told you this. The kids took pictures of all the big cottonwoods in town, and then they took them out. And so this is Sisters without all those trees, and brought that to the city council, and those councilmen, the jaws dropped, and and there were other pine trees too that have been eliminated. And if you go through and you could take them out with a computer and really see what it looks like or what it would look like. So it's good to have, I'm sure.
Yeah, it also allows you to see your carbon sequestration for the public trees. Again, kind of demonstrating the benefit of an urban forest.
We're good with TreePlotter. We're ready to move on to the next one?
What's the next one?
Highway 20 and the Locust Roundabout.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick update about that one. Trees started going in late last week. I believe ponderosas at the moment, as well as a few other species. So work is progressing on the roundabout landscaping. Trees are going in first.
So no more hearts for Valentine's Day?
What's up there now?
Apparently some trees.
Well, that's up there, huh?
St. Patrick's Day, the
St.
leprechaun.
Patrick, leprechauns, that's what it is. I saw them yesterday.
No, we're not doing that. In fact, we don't encourage it.
We don't encourage it. They just have a tendency to blow away and become trash. But once we start landscaping in there, we'll make sure signs stay out. At the moment, it's ODOT's maintenance responsibility to begin landscaping.
Moving on to board member comments.
So I have a comment. I don't know how many of you have noticed it, how often you drive on Pine Street, but the Woodlands has put up a couple of plaques by a large old pondo that I don't really know if it's a public tree. It looks like it probably is a private tree, but I don't know exactly. So they put up a big plaque and say that makes the claim that it is the oldest tree in Sisters. That's the biggest thing you can read. And then it goes on to say, this ponderosa pine is the largest tree in the city of Sisters, Oregon. Preserving it was a primary goal of the Sisters Woodlands development and reflects a commitment to building housing that respects the history and ecology of the region. And it goes on to talk about ponderosa pine description, food for wildlife, and then traditional uses, and says ponderosa pine was used medicinally by many North American indigenous tribes, et cetera, which it's ironic in a couple of ways that they did this. One is that for those of you who remember, this same outfit, Sisters Woodlands, took out a huge pondo very close to this one at a time when building permits were being discussed for certain units right there, and they were in play about how to best preserve this tree, because it was had been agreed upon that this tree would be preserved when all the housing was done. And they took it down without telling the city, without asking the city, and people were surprised and very angry at this. And so I don't know if we can do anything as a board to respond to the fact that they did this. They know they didn't go through our heritage tree program to officially make it a heritage tree. I'm not the end judge, but it would seem like it would qualify for a heritage tree in Sisters, but I don't know. And I asked Jackson and Casey, like, who says that it's the oldest or the tallest? And that has not been scientifically assessed as far as I know, or they know.
Forest Service maybe, when they, because that was Forest Service, right?
Originally, yeah.
Yeah, but that was Forest Service land, and then, did the Woodland then buy it when it was given up? How did they give the land to develop it?
Well, didn't the city of Sisters buy it first? Or do a swap or something? I'm not,
Superfoods.
I'm not clear about the history, but it is located on the Woodlands property, and I believe there is some kind of easement around that tree. What kind of easement it is, I'm not 100% clear on, but I do know that they took efforts to preserve it. And also, yes, I don't believe any inventory has been made of public and private trees in the city to determine the oldest or the largest tree.
so I guess my question, and it doesn't have to be resolved today, to my fellow board members is this something that we want to respond to? I mean, at the time that other tree came down, I went out there myself and looked and measured the base of it. It was huge. And I wrote an article for the Nugget about it, which was published. I interviewed the guy who's developing the property for the owners. And I told him at the time, you have this other beautiful tree right down the road. Why don't you, when you have time and if you're interested, submit an application to the city to make that a heritage tree and do all you can to protect it. But they didn't go that route. And I only bring that up to say they were aware that we do have this program in town. And it would be a cool tree to have show that status. So I'm just wondering it seems like we should note it in some way, invite them to be an actual heritage tree applicant. I don't know. What do people think?
What kind of sign is up there now, or placard, or?
It's a plaque on the tree, right?
Plaque
No, it's not on the tree. It's separate from the tree, but it's quite large. It's near where Sisters Park Drive comes in. They've put a bench out there, and there's actually two signs. One just says Ponderosa Pine, and the other one is this full-on plaque. I can send, is it okay if I send people the pictures, Casey, or is that some kind of communication that I shouldn't do with everybody?
We can take some pictures and
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
But I think what I'm gonna figure out if it's a city-owned tree right away or if it's a private tree.
Well, Jackson just said it's a
He thought it was-
privately owned woodlands tree.
It's a privately owned woodlands tree. I think they have some sort of public access easement
Oh,
around
gotcha.
it.
Okay, I misunderstood that.
So it's the road that goes through the middle, that comes out across there by the turnoff to go into the, whatever
The woodlands.
East portal though on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the one that comes out
Yes.
by the east portal? Whatever it is. Is that the east
It's
portal?
on Pine Street, down from the snow cap.
Yeah.
Right,
He's
but it
talking
goes
about
all
the-
the way across.
Yeah, he's talking about the cross street. I don't know what that name is
Is
right
that
now.
the cross?
Sisters Park.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I can understand trying to support the Heritage Tree Program, but if they've been informed about the program and they either chose not to listen or they forgot,
They want to toot their own horn.
yeah, we can
Sorry.
kindly ask and see if they want to submit for a heritage tree,
Yeah.
but we're I don't know really what else we could do.
Well, we could, for example, with the help of Avery or what documentation we do or do not have, send them a letter that says, there's no, FYI, there's no proof that it is the oldest or the tallest in Sisters.
Yeah, but who measured it? Who determined that? Was that their determination? Or was that done by the Forest Service when they owned it 5 years ago or 7 years ago?
I don't know that the Forest Service would be tasked with assessing a tree's height and age versus all the ponderosas within the city of Sisters.
No, I don't
It
see
doesn't,
that either.
but there might be an urban legend that it is.
Yeah. That was right there on their property, that was gonna be, wasn't that where the new Forest Service was gonna go?
The tree is down west across Pine from Sisters Run, approximately in that area.
Okay,
So it's far north of the ranger station in the Woodlands development,
okay.
surrounded by homes. And I believe there has been some talk in the past of it potentially being the oldest or the biggest, because it is quite big when you see it. So I can see how some folks may be convinced of that.
Did you contact Woodlands or their representative, Therese?
I did in the past when that first tree
Okay.
was taken down illegally. So I think his name is Kevin Eckerd. I might be wrong on the first name, but he's a nice guy. He was really friendly and talked to me, and I don't know. I think he'd certainly be open to a conversation about it. It just strikes me as odd.
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Hello?
Yes.
Great. Sorry, I'm at work. But I was just thinking, I mean, it is private property. It is, people make claims on the oldest or the biggest or the greatest, whatever, all over the place on their private property, in all sorts of communities. I do think, though, it would be interesting if we wrote a letter from the board invited them to apply and kind of outlined the process. But I'm not sure what more than that is within our lane.
Mm-hmm. I don't know either, but for example, we could go low-hanging fruit is to measure that tree as it is today versus some of those trees by the creek and that big tree that's in the ODOT bump out there near the roundabout. It's a huge tree also. And just say, hey, yours is this and these others are XYZ. I would expect that there's at least one that's as big or bigger than that at the DBH measurement.
Are they saying it's older or the tallest or?
They're saying both. The headline is that it's the oldest, and then in the first paragraph it also says it's the biggest.
Biggest. Tall.
I think that's the word that they.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can.
Oh, largest. They say it's the oldest and the largest.
That's kind of how much does it weigh or how tall it is. That's the kind of things you get on the coast with these big spruce or all these different trees is this one's taller, but this one's bigger, you know, at breast height, whatever it is. And, yeah, it's kind of a shaky, biggest tree in sisters. I guess you just measure it around the girth, and then it'll be the biggest, if it is. You could also measure the height too, and say the tallest. You know. Yeah, maybe we should write a letter to them asking if they would like to submit for one of our what kind of trees are they?
Heritage.
Heritage
Heritage tree.
Big tree.
Yeah, but
one
we
of our
can,
heritage trees. So, yeah.
Well, shall we bring this up as another topic at our next meeting and maybe have a draft of a proposed letter to ponder?
I mean, I don't mind driving through there and finding them, handing them a heritage tree nomination. And
Do we have a form for that?
yeah,
That's it.
yeah, we have a form.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can just hand it to him and see what he
Got an
says.
office over there, or
Well,
I don't know.
I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be that hard to find because he's still out there trying to sell stuff.
Okay.
no, he's not hard to find, Kevin.
He's not Bender.
So, is that? Would you like? You want me to do that?
That'd be great.
Okay,
Yeah. That would be great.
there we go.
Hunt him down.
I'll get him.
All right.
Okay.
Good job.
Do we have any other? Was that any? Did you have anything else that you'd like to add, or all good there?
All good there.
Okay. Any other board member comments?
Nope. I'm good.
Okay. City council liaison comments.
So, City Council will be reviewing the draft master plan for the Northwest Park on Wednesday. This is the park that's between the Woodlands and our first roundabout in that corner, Barclay and 20. And we have been reviewing various conceptual designs on that. And the city's master park plan said, consider an ice rink in that area. And I don't know if you've been following our discussions in city council. We've opted out of a formal ice rink and pavilion because of the size of that park. I think it's under 3 acres. It's fairly small. The amount of parking that would be needed and so forth. And the cost, by the way, very expensive. So what we'd like to do is just reconsider that potentially in the UGB amendment area in the future, bring back up this idea of an ice rink, which some of the community was advocating for. So for now, that space is planned to be a phased approach. We're just going to have a playground in there. There's going to be a bouldering area, which is really cool, and a fire tower climbing thing for the kids, and a nature walk, and potentially we'll have a basketball court or one type of court there. And so I just wanted to kind of bring that to your attention. There may be some trees removed as a result of some of that design at a later date. But at this time we haven't approved any trees for removal because we haven't even approved this master plan. We are scheduled to approve it, I think, April 6th is the meeting. You may have driven by there and seen some of the trees have blue tape tied around them. So I questioned Scott Woodford if those were being tagged for some reason, because we have not approved any to be brought down. And he said, no, he believes it's been left over from some surveying that was done prior in regards to the whole development there. So just to kind of put everybody's mind at ease, because
Is it a blue flag
It's,
They're gonna be cut? 'Cause
well,
they
I
used to
don't know.
do the
Yeah.
blue paint on them.
Oh, yeah, no, this is like tape
The-
that's
yeah,
tied around the trees,
Blue
maybe
tape,
like
but
10 of them.
I thought about that too, because when you got a logging area, you know, BLM or whatever, they put the blue, you know, the blue, paint around the tree trunks, and these are gonna be cut out.
Yeah,
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 there's some along, Locust going out Wilk Road, you know, that
Yeah.
way, that have their own snags, and they've been tagged with blue something, I don't know, I'll look and see if it's paint or tape, but yeah, I was curious about that, thanks for,
you see that, yeah. Well, the good news is that that parcel is now under the control of the city.
okay.
So, you know, Woodlands gave that to the city for us to put this park in. So I think we were probably okay in terms of having some control over the tree situation in there. Yeah, so just that's my update in regards to the park, Northwest Park.
Thank you.
Good.
Can I make one comment?
Oh, yeah.
Often blue, not always, often blue is used to tag wildlife trees.
Oh, interesting. And my eyes aren't good enough to tell if it's blue or green when I drive by it, and I don't want to have an accident, so I haven't been staring at it. But that would be an interesting designation of those trees. Yeah. But I don't know who would have gone through and done that.
I'll drive by, I'm gonna look down, find the big tree and the blue flagged trees.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the update. Had a lot of rumors of people asking where the ice rink was going, and I didn't know exactly where, if it was going. But yeah, so well, I think that brings our meeting to an end. Next meeting will be April 13th at 3. I should be in attendance. I'm not on shift. So, okay. 13. Thank you, everybody.
I move that we close.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good day.
So moved.